roll call of all members. Do I hear a motion to dispense with the calling of the roll?
Mr. Chair, I move to dispense with the calling of the roll.
Second.
There's a motion to dispense with the calling of the roll, which is duly seconded. Is there any objection? And the motion is carried. May I request the COMSEC to please acknowledge all the members as well as all the resource persons and witnesses.
Good morning, Your Honors. May we welcome for today's hearing, fifth hearing, the following members. Honorable Romeo M. Aco, Vice Chairperson from the 2nd District of Antipolo City. Honorable Ramon Rodrigo L. Gutierrez from One Rider Party List. Honorable Rolando M. Valeriano from the 2nd District of Manila. Honorable Francisco Paulo P. Ortega from the 1st District of La Union. Honorable Dan S. Fernandez from the Lone District of Santa Rosa City. Honorable Raul Angelo Gil Bongalon from Ako Bicol Party List. And, Honorable Joseph Stephen Caraps Espaduano from Abang Lingkod Party List. Honorable David J. S. Suarez, Deputy Speaker from the 2nd District of Quezon. Honorable Jude A. Asigre, Deputy Majority Leader from Tingog Party List, Your Honor. With that, we have a quorum, Your Honor. Now, moving on to the recognition of the resource persons or witnesses. Your Honor, we have in attendance from the Office of the Vice President, Attorney Rosaline L. Sanchez, Director for Administrative and Financial Services of the Vice President, of the Office of the Vice President, Ms. Julieta Villa del Rey, Chief Accountant, Mr. Kevin Jerome L. Tenido, Chief Administrative Officer, Mr. Edward D. Fajarda, former Special Dispersing Officer of the Department of Education and now an employee of the OVP, Your Honor. That's it, Your Honor. May we know where Mr. Fajarda is? She was... Well, pardon, Your Honor, there was an error in the list given to me. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Edward Fajarda is not present, Your Honor.
Sa mga invited po, ilan po yung umattend lang?
Rabago. Edeling Rabago.
Out of 9,
Rabago. Rabago.
ilan lamang po ang umattend out of 9?
Your Honor, we have in attendance Ms. Maria Edeline A. Rabago, Mr. Tenido, Ms. Villa del Rey, and Attorney Sanchez. Only 4 out of the 9, Your Honors.
So what is the pleasure of the members?
Mr. Chairman.
Honorable
if I may-
Deputy Speaker, J.J.
Yes.
Suarez,
Thank
you're
you very much.
recognized.
Unang-una po, nagpapasalamat po ako dun sa mga resource persons po natin na dumalo ngayong umaga. At naging positibo po ang pagtugon po ninyo sa marami po naming paanyaya. At sana naman po masagot ang maraming mga katanungan at magkaroon ng kaliwanagan ang ilan sa mga issues na pinag-uusapan at matagal na pong pinag-uusapan ng komitibang ito. Nais ko lang po malaman, Mr. Chair, with regards to the other resource persons, can I get clarification from the COMSEC? Were you able to provide them the subpoena for today's hearings?
COMSEC?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, there was a first attempt for service on November 7, which was Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. But the server from the LSB, Mr. Santos, was refused entry into the lobby of Robinson Cybergate Plaza by Mr. Noel P. Casas, OIC of Masigasig Security Agency, Inc. Because according to him, no one in the OVP will receive the subpoena ad testificandum on that day. A second service was then done on November 8, 2024, and this pertains to this reissued subpoena ad testificandum. The second service was done at 9:34 a.m.
This is for whom?
for all the 9, Your Honors. However, except for Attorneys Lopez and Fajarda, whose subpoenas were refused receipt, the other 7 individuals were physically present to receive their subpoenas. And it was proven by the return of the LSB that they have their signatures in the subpoena ad testificandum, which is in the records of the committee secretariat available to your perusal as well, Your Honors. So it was received by Mr. Ortonio, Attorney Sanchez, Ms. Acosta, Ms. Villa del Rey, Mr. Fajarda, Mr. Tenido, and Ms. Rabago. There is also a timestamp when it was received per individual, Your Honor. at 5:55 p.m. on November, pardon, since there are two individuals who refused receipt of the subpoena, the Secretariat sent a copy of the subpoena ad testificandum to the electronic mail of Attorney Zulaika Lopez and Attorney Sunshine Fajarda. And we received a reply from the server, the postmaster of the ovp.gov.ph, that it was properly delivered to the said emails, Your Honor. And that was on November 8 as well, around 1:41, if I'm not mistaken, in the afternoon, Your Honor. Thereafter, at 5:55 p.m. of November 9.
8.
Yes, all
Okay, so
sir,
pasok tayo sa 3-day rule.
yes, Your
Okay.
Honor. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. That's the history, Your Honor.
Previous to those attempts, COMSEC, ilang beses po natin silang inimbitahan para dumalo sa committee hearings natin?
Your Honor, there are
Sir.
It's like
And as to what will be the menu and
One more chance. Do I hear a motion from the member for the reissuance of subpoena ad testificandum insofar as Attorney Zulaika Lopez only is concerned? Do I hear a motion?
Mr.
so
Chair,
moved, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Akop.
since we have discussed the situation of Attorney Lopez,
No, we still have to
yes,
move for a
and,
motion.
for humanitarian consideration, may I move that we issue another subpoena to Attorney Zulaika Lopez for the next hearing. So move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion by Congressman Akop for the reissuance of subpoena ad testificandum insofar as Attorney Zulaika Lopez is concerned. Is there any second to the motion? Duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Now, insofar as the four others witnesses or resource persons that we already cited in contempt, as far as Edward Fajarda, Attorney Sunshine Fajarda, at sino pa ba? Gina Acosta, and Attorney Limuel Ortoño, we find their excuse as unacceptable, considering the fact that, like for example, in the case of Edward Fajarda, according to him, he is on official travel to monitor inventories and documents on November 10 to 15. However, the subpoena was issued to him and was received by him personally, according to COMSEC, last November 8. So, medyo lame po yung excuse niya. Ganon din po dun sa iba.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, if I may be recognized.
Yes, Congressman J.J. Suarez, Deputy
Yeah.
Speaker.
Binabasa ko po itong pinadala ni Mr. Edward Fajarda. Hindi ko nga alam kung siya nagpadala nito. Basta ang nakasulat lang po dito ay travel order niya signed by Assistant Chief of Staff Lemuel Ortoño. Am I correct, COMSEC, na ito lang po yung pinadala ni Mr. Fajarda?
yes, Your Honor.
So, in other words, Mr. Chair, wala man lang siyang paliwanag personally or in writing to the committee as to why he is not available today. Rather, what was submitted to the committee was a travel order signed by the Chief of Staff, or does he also have a personal letter signed, sent to the committee, COMSEC?
Your Honor, apologies, Your Honor. It is on the last page of the file that you are holding. There's a letter signed by Mr. Edward Fajarda himself. Last page, Your Honor.
Dami kasing excuse, kaya
May I
Medyo
proceed to
makapal
read, Your Honor, to make it easier for the members?
no. We can get to that. Ito. Yeah, so in the same purpose, Mr. Chair, well, thank you that he has sent a letter. In the same purpose, Mr. Chair, I believe that the topic at hand is so important that a trip to Caraga can actually be rescheduled just so that he can attend today's hearing. Natanggap niya naman po yung subpoena sa kanya. At alam niya naman po na previous to the subpoena that was received, he received it also via email. Other than that, he's been invited numerous times to attend the same hearing in the weeks past. So it is my position, Mr. Chair, that with regards to the letter of Mr. Edward Fajarda, this is unacceptable for the committee, Mr. Chair.
Ganon din po sa iba, sa tatlo pa.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, actually, yun nga,
Mr. Chairman.
actually, yeah, Mr. Chair, Dan Fernandez.
Is it,
Yes, Congressman Dan Fernandez.
I'm reading
correct.
the certificate of appearance of Attorney Sunshine Chari Paharda. And the excuse that was mentioned here was nag-appear siya sa Office of the Vice President sa Panay Negros Island noong November 5 and 9. And attached here, andito po yung mga tickets. Well, ang question po natin, hindi ba nila pwedeng gawin sa ibang araw? Yung kanilang pagbisita doon sa kanilang Panay Negros Island. And at the same time, there are no valid reason why they have to personally visit yung kanila pong opisina doon sa Panay. What is so important in that visitation that was conducted between November 5 and 9? So I think this also evasion, and they're trying to evade our hearings. And nakakalungkot lang po. They're trying to run and hide and not to be with us. So
And the activities is scheduled on November 5 to 9. Today is November 11.
yes, correct.
So
And-
tapos na yung activities nila.
Yeah, and there's no
dapat
reason,
umattend po siya
to
ngayon.
attend here. And I agree with the DS that this is not acceptable.
In addition, Mr. Chair, doon sa sinabi ni Congressman Fernandez, medyo nakakapagtaka dahil pare-parehas silang umalis. Pare-parehas silang may travel order, pare-parehas silang pinahintulutan na umalis sa araw na may hearing tayo. Now, it makes me think that there's actually a malicious intent behind all these reasons and travel orders given to them just so that they can, again, avoid attending today's hearing, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Isidre.
Mr. Chair, I just want to put it on record, no? Because I remember during the last hearing, the same persons that we've cited in contempt actually made a statement refusing to recognize this committee or refusing to attend to this committee for the reasons I stated in a statement that was read in the previous hearing. I think I want to put it on record that by writing to this committee, they're basically waiving that position and recognizing. Therefore, I see no reason, Mr. Chair, that in subsequent hearings of the committee, they would be excused any longer, since they have already recognized implicitly or explicitly by the correspondence they submitted, and I concur with the earlier decision to recite the following persons in contempt.
Thank you. Kaya po, meron pa po bang gustong mag-comment? Okay na.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Akop.
I read the excuse letter of Madam Fajarda, and her reason was he was not able to receive the subpoena. So, ito po yung letter niya eh. I am writing to respectfully inform you that I was not able to receive the subpoena, which was attempted to be served last 8 November 2024. But if we look at the travel order of Attorney Fajarda, it was from 05 to 09 November 2024. So pwedeng wala pa siya kasi nasa travel pa siya. So how do we go about this, Mr. Chair?
Comsec.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. In relation to that, as reported, I would refer to my previous report earlier that despite personal service and their refusal to physically receive the subpoena, the Secretariat made the substituted service through the electronic mails of Attorney Zulaika Lopez and Attorney Sunshine Fajarda. And on the same date, on November 8, 2024, or on, it was a Friday, or Your Honor, after sending the electronic mail containing the subpoena ad testificandum, Your Honor, the Secretariat deemed it prudent to ensure that there would be a delivery receipt once it is actually successfully delivered by the house server. So at 1:42 p.m. on November 8, 2024, we received confirmation from the postmaster at ovp.gov.ph, a server of the Office of the Vice President, confirming that our email containing the subpoena ad testificandum has been delivered to the electronic mail of Attorney Sunshine Fajarda at sunshine.fajarda@ovp.gov.ph, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, with the indulgence of Chairman ako.
Yes, Congressman Dan Fernandez.
Lagi na pong practice yan eh. They refuse to accept the invitation. And this representation wanted to find out who that person is and who ordered him not to accept the invitation.
May I, Your Honor? I just look into the report. On November 7, there was on November 8, the person who refused to receive the subpoenas for Attorney Zulaika and Attorney Fajarda per the report of the Legislative Service Bureau. It was certain Attorney Emily Torrentina from the Legislative Affairs Division of
Ayun.
the OVP.
Mr. Chairman, can we invite that person as well? And for us to find out why babae ba siya? Oh ma'am, andito po pala kayo. Why did you refuse to accept the ano?
Your Honor, oath has not been administered. Thank
Okay,
you, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, can we administer the oath of those first time that attended this hearing?
Mr. Chair,
Ipautan
if I
natin
may.
silang lahat. Comsec, pwede po ba paki-out na lahat sabay-sabay?
Thank you, Your Honors. To all the resource persons, including Attorney Emily Torrentira, please stand up, including Attorney Emily Torrentira. But since you are willing to testify, Your Honor, and give your statements, Your Honor, it was requested that she will be giving her oath as well, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may, respectfully,
Please administer the oath first.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this inquiry, Your Honor? I do. The oath has been administered for the resource persons, Ms. Rabago, Mr. Tenido, Attorney San.
We ask her why she refuses to take her oath.
may I, Mr. Chair,
You can
Your
all sit down,
Honors.
ma'am. Upo na po.
Thank you.
Bakit
Your
daw po
Honor.
ayaw ninyo mag-take ng oath?
No, Your Honor, I am not refusing to take the oath. Prior to being asked to take the oath, I was trying to explain, Your Honor, that I am not an invited resource person. Second, that I've only been asked now to explain why there was no receipt for subpoena for the persons who are not present here. That is what I'm trying to say, Your Honors, respectfully. I just wanted to explain that as part of the Legal Affairs Division of the office, I wanted to explain why we did not receive. In accordance with the rules governing inquiries in aid of legislation, wherein the rules of court suppletorily applies. Rule 14 in relation to Rule 21 of the Rules of Court, Your Honors, personal service must be made to resource persons who are being issued subpoena. With that, Your Honor, they being not present in the office at that time, no person can receive on their behalf, and hence there will be no proper service. Respectfully, Your Honors.
Well, we know we accept that. That this is an issue. And I think, Mr. Chairman, with this kind of explanation that being manifested by Attorney Tolentino, as much as we accept that the premise of her, but somehow we are all guided with moral decency, no? That somehow, sana
Mr.
naman,
Chairman,
umattend naman po sila dito kahit na sabihin po natin that yun nga po, ito po yung sinasabi nung inyong minention a while ago, but I think somehow sa akin personally that is not accepted. And isang tanong lang, attorney, have somebody told you not to accept all those invitations?
No, Your Honor, it was a
So it is
in accordance with the rules, Your
so it's your
Honor.
own
Attorney,
volition.
we will recognize you later because hindi po kayo nag-take ng oath. Okay na
Mr.
po. yun.
Chairman,
You've already said your piece.
Thank
Mr.
you, Your
Chairman.
Honor.
Congressman,
may I
Patuano,
ask
you're
the
recognized.
good attorney, what is your role in this? You are not invited, but you are present at today's hearing, and you never take your oath. Why?
Legal counsel.
What is your presence?
Mr. Chair, Your Honor, I am the Chief of Legal Affairs of the Office of the Vice President.
So,
I am here to represent the institution, Your Honor.
so you are here to represent the institution. You should, before talking, you should take your oath, because that is on record. You're a lawyer. You know that. You cannot speak unless until you take your oath. That's the rule, internal rules of this house and this committee. You cannot speak unless you take your oath, or else I will move to excuse you in this room.
Your Honor, if I may,
Um,
Mr. Chair.
Point of order, Mr. Chair.
What
Mr.
is,
Chair,
what is your point of order?
yeah, I take the position of Congressman Paduano. I really don't know why she's here. Has she forwarded any explanation written as to her attendance?
Hindi, Mr.
Comsec.
Chairman,
No,
Mr. Chairman,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
Chairman, a while ago, she was trying to tell us that she is the representative of the office of the Vice President. And if you are the representative of the Vice President, you have this reason to take your oath as well.
No, but, yeah, but other than that, Mr. Chair, before we can even proceed to um, asking her to take her oath, has she communicated officially to the committee that she is indeed representing the office of the Vice President? Is there any letter that whereby Attorney Tolentino is given authority to represent the office of the Vice President, Comsec?
None, Your Honor.
Did you submit your authority?
If I may, Your Honor,
Yes,
respectfully.
please.
Mr. Chair, can we just call for a 5-minute suspension? Kausapin muna natin kung ano ba talaga kasi
5-minute suspension is declared by the chair.
Mr. Chairman,
Committee hearing resumes. Congressman Paduano.
thank you, Chairman. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, first and foremost, since the good lawyer has no written authority coming from the Vice President. Second is that she never take her oath. So, Mr. Chairman, first, I move that we strike out all, on record, all the statement being made by the good attorney.
Seconded.
There's a motion raised by Congressman Paduano, duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
And second, Mr. Chairman, I move that we excuse the good lady attorney in this room and to request the SAA to escort the good attorney outside of this room. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Seconded.
There's a motion to excuse the good attorney from this room, which is duly seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
Mr. Chair, if I may respectfully request.
You're not, you're out of order. You're not reg-
No, Chair, para hindi siya makapagsalita.
being
Suspend.
Suspend ko na lang.
Your Honor,
1 minute suspension. Paki-excuse na lang po yung excuse na lang ito.